Geeta is here in the living room for a change, having some snacks. And she knows I'm filming, so she's going to her living room corner. Now she's heading the other way. She knows the filming is going on. Not happy. Twins are here in their playpen in the living room. One is in their favorite. There's a Jackson Galaxy bucket, which he likes to sit in, and I think that's Finn. And then the other one, Elsie, is there. They had gone into the playpen to sit on their bed with the flap open. So I decided that I would go film them and then go film Agita in her room. But Agita pushed her way out of her room, and then the baby's ready to come out of the playpen to play with her, and Agita started panicking. So I've just closed the flap for a few minutes. They can hang out in here. I've given them lots of treats. And as soon as Agita goes back into her room, which I think she's going to do very soon, though right now she's hanging out in the living room. She feels safe here because the babies are in their playpen. And she is in the corner there. I don't know if you can see her. So, okay, I'm going to move to my ego chair. A lot to talk about here. Nutty Prof, back. I'm going to take off my mask. I only start this symbolically. And I'm on my ego chair. Agita is over there on her white chair in the living room. And she's in the living room because she feels safe. The babies are in there. We have a playpen in lieu of a coffee table, and usually the flap is open. They can come and go when their sister is in her room, but she won't come out of her room unless they are in their room or in the playpen. And it's ready. They're ready for nap time now anyway, so they're going to have a little nap while I do this. And then after the taping, I think Agita's already heading to her room. She doesn't like taping. So as soon as I do this, Agita will be in her room. I let the babies out. In the meanwhile, they can sit there and listen to their dad podcast. A lot to report. I'm still clear, but after the podcast I taped last night, part one, I had a very close call. The cravings were pretty much at their maximum. There, for the reasons discussed in yesterday's podcast, it was that werewolf was very hungry, and he was at pretty much 10 out of 10 on the werewolf craving scale. So in the end, I just didn't have the energy to fight it anymore, and I'm not going to go into details of this, for obvious reasons, but I went online and it's been 15, 18 months now. My old contacts are all gone, but there are ways of doing it, and I don't binge at home. I go out and find somebody, they're middle people, and set up at motels and whatever. I'm not going to go into the details of all of that, but it can be done online. So, and at one point, that was all part of the addiction, part of the thrill, and the whole thing. You set it up and you go back and forth and you exchange things, and you find party friendly people who will find you stuff to party with, and this and that, and there's ways of doing it. And again, I'm not going to reveal too much here. I write about all the details in my writing, but I haven't published it yet. And if I ever publish my writing, of course, all names changed, locations changed, and fictionalized, and I can always go, oh no, I never really did anything that was illegal. That was just all made up. So, but for now, I'll just say I had a close call, went through the whole thing. There was a little bit of the thrill came back, but it wasn't like before. It was kind of very compulsive, and I was like, and I was worried about, what would happen if something happens to me and the babies, and I've got, the additional responsibilities here, and I've got my socially distanced friends, and then who have been very supportive, by the way, and then I told the kids, I said, I am going to, very likely I'm going to be able to come back. But I am going to head out to fall. I will probably end up falling, but I'm going to do it as safely as possible and try to get back to you without something bad happening to me. I'll make every effort, but I kind of got to do this. So I went out. I'm not going to go into the details. It didn't work out. The person I was going through had set up a buy, and usually you'll back it up with a second dealer, but the person said that this dealer was reliable. It's drug dealers. It's not the most reliable of professions, and they usually show up between half an hour, 40, 15 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes. This win took 2 hours, and I just, gave me time to cool down. It gave, and I'm just like kind of pacing around, and I'm like, and then there was a possibility of setting up another buy through someone else or whatever. And by that time, you know what? I know how to take a message from the universe, and I kind of realize that this is a message, and if I push this, something really bad will happen. The old, I hate to say shit like this, but the old, everything happens for a reason shit, So I left, and even then, it was still a bit of a battle because there's the slot lines, and you go on your phone, and you get to find someone else, and you put somewhere else, and do all of the stuff with this, and then whatever the question of waiting, but I'm like going, this has happened for a reason. I'm getting out of here. This is a sign, and did not try to arrange further. Just picked up some, some takeout. Actually, bars and patios were open. Area of Mississauga, down by the lake, and they get an extra spicy chicken shawarma for the werewolf. I'm like, it's not getting the stuff at once, but I'm like going, you can eat chicken just this one time, and about the werewolf. My friends, I mentioned the one out of province who suggested I tell the werewolf to fuck off and go pester somebody else. And my other cat rescuer friend, the local one, exchanged some texts with me about this, and she was very pleased with that. And she said, "Your other friend is absolutely right. That werewolf should just fuck off and should go pester someone else and leave you the fuck alone." And I appreciate the sentiments. I really do. But the only thing is, and this is the tricky part, is the werewolf is me. It's a part of me. It can't go out, and some people, and that's in a way, that's what Jung says. We're talking now about shadow, and everybody has shadow. I personify mine, an aspect of mine as the werewolf, but it's a part of me, and what some people do with shadow is they either deny it, most people deny it, or you project it. So in a way, that projecting it out into others, it's not me, it's them that are bad or whatever. It's the outwards. That is the whole. But you're not really getting rid of it. You're putting it on other people. So you're that's the closest that the werewolf goes to pester other people. You project it out and you go, other people are werewolves and other people are this, and I'm okay. I'm just this. And I'm whatever. So and in Jungian theory, that's why the part of the process of individuation, the lifelong process, is to confront, the shadow and integrate it, be aware of it, integrate it, and not give into it, but rechannel it. Which is why in Patap, rechanneling is such a big part of my theory, my approach. Rechanneling into podcasts, writing, being the best cat parent I can be, and to a certain degree, even the car collection and all of that is all rechanneling of this shadow energy, and the writing about it and the podcast and all of that, but doesn't always work, as we've seen. It's a very close call, very close. And I have a podcast from last year, maybe 2 years ago now, which is entitled Close Call. And I do talk about that close call in some detail. It was with a particular person, a different context. also took place in a motel. But it was like if you haven't seen that, yeah, I think it's podcast number 7 or 8, and I reveal a little bit more in that about the process than in other podcasts, but I don't want to go into it here. So I will just say that, the deal fell through, but I didn't pursue it. So, that's the only little bit of credit I get there. Yes, I did slip. All right, I was ready to fall, but when circumstances or the universe, kind of said no, I didn't push it. I kind of listened, and I had my shawarma, and I came home, and just such a relief to see the kids and say, "Daddy's clean, clear, I'm back, and the babies have been extra cuddly last night, extra cuddly. They were all over me. My cat rescuer, my local cat rescuer friend says cats are very, intuitive and very sentient, and they know, and they've been very cuddly, and they were here in the living room, and everybody's sort of in the same space, they're in their playpen. Geetha is actually in the dining room, so we're all four of us are in the living dining area right now. But I think Geetha will head to her room soon, and then babies come out, and I woke up in the morning. I had what I call in other podcasts, I call it a daily sober focus point, DSFP, I think. When you wake up and you're like going, I'm sober. Might not have been, but so we're sub goals. I've got one more week to my birthday, and then about a week after that, it's going to be 1.5 years, 18 months, and then the next big one will be 2 years. I mean, there's no guarantees here. I'm doing this day by day, but I think I've had, a reprieve, and it's such a close call. Kind of shook me up a bit, and it's just been such a big reprieve and such a big relief. There's no guarantees here, but I'm going to do this Oppie photo, one point in front of the other, that, one day at a time. All the stuff from, Patap, And speaking of the reprieve, it did remind me actually of a book by Jean-Paul Sartre, the existentialist. Remember we talked about Camus and Sartre during the, pandemic. And Sartre has a book called The Reprieve, set in wartime France, The Resistance. And it's kind of, I've been battling, and I did resist, So maybe I should dig it up somewhere. I don't know where it is, my copy of it, and reread it. But anyway, news is good. Still clear, and all is relatively well. And I'll keep you posted. I'm now going to I can write the details, but I can't share publicly here without fear of whatever. Police knocking on my door. But anyway, so I'm just like, bye for now. Keep you posted.